You really had to do Fucale bad like that. Like, why would you do that to him? I mean, first of all, you score on his own goal, then you can't even win it in overtime, and you lose it in a skills competition. Why are we even going to talk about Boston? Who cares?
Your Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Capitals. I am your host, as always, the Insider of the Insiders, Tyler Kuehl, better known as the Insider of the Insiders, Tyler Kuehl, who is the host of the show that seemingly finds a way to just not win a game beyond 60 minutes. That's right, kiddies. The Capitals are still a decently good hockey team who is toward the top of the Metropolitan Division, yet finds a way to lose games that they should not. Well, all right, how are we going to do this today? Well, here's what we'll do. We will barely mention the St. Louis game because I'm pretty sure that even Pedro Laviolette doesn't want to mention the... Holy cow, why are you barking, dog? Wixie. See, even the dog is mad of how bad the Capitals were this weekend. Like, Wixie is even losing her mind right now because of the fact that she knows that Zach Fucale earned a win on Saturday night. We won't mention the St. Louis game at all, okay? Won't mention that at all. That's beside the point. We're just going to ignore that it ever happened. And it's probably for the best, too, because yes, Daniel Sprong scores. Great goal. Good for him. Started off the game right, and then just the rest of that game went along. And yeah, just it did not go well for the Washington Capitals on Friday. So you wondered what the plan was for Saturday. Vitek Vanacek was not good to go, and I was really unsure on how Zach Fucale was going to play. You know, I think the Washington Capitals played a really good game in that game against Detroit. And now, granted, that was many moons ago back in November. But were they going to be able to do it against the Minnesota Wild, who were, they were banged up a little bit? It was not going to be an easy game for them because, of course, they didn't have Kuehl Kaprizov because he was recovering after Trent Frederick boarded him from behind, put his head into the boards. And again, their game on Friday, was it? And yeah, Friday. So the game starts, and I don't want to say it was a slow start, but the Capitals and the Wild traded chances. Washington came out strong. They came out hard. And Kaapo Kähkönen, of course, was the goaltender once again for Minnesota. And I think he played really good in this game. He obviously had to come up with some big saves early on and often. But Fucale, despite only getting, in total, 22 shots in this game, had to be sharp early on. Now, granted, once again, he has not played an NHL game since November because he's gone back down to Hershey. So once again, it's not like he has not played a game, but all signs are pointing towards the fact that he may have been a little rusty at the NHL level. But we go scroll through 20 minutes of play. We get to the second period, and things started to go right for the Capitals a little bit. First, Nick Jensen gets the puck at the point, throws one on goal, and who is there? That is right, guys, the guy that was scratched on Friday against the Blues, a healthy scratch, Connor McMichael, his fifth goal of the season. Well, there was a deflection, yes, but he went hard to the net, got in the right scoring areas, and gets the goal. The Caps are out in front. Good stuff. Way to go. But here's the crazy thing, too, guys. About a minute after that happened, some weird thing happened. Wait, was it right after that? No, it was later on, right? Right? No, had to have been. No, we won't get to that. Won't get to the story yet. But we'll mention the other goal that happened. Power plays have been a struggle for this Capitals team. We've gone over it. And face-off win right off a power play. Capitals win it. Ovechkin's at the top of the circle. And Ovechkin looks and says, hey, Kuznetsov's over there. Let's see what happens when we pass this puck highly across the slot to a guy with a good one-timer. Kuznetsov, blah! His 12th of the season on the power play. It's 2-0 Capitals. Heck yes, kitties, which was, just a huge goal. And first of all, yeah, like I said, I made the reference because usually it's the right wing to Ovechkin on the one-timer on the power play. I know it was not a power play that was set up. They still went 1 for 5 on the rest of their power, or 0 for 4 with the rest of their power plays, 1 for 5 on the night. But the fact of the matter is they got a goal on the power play. That is the most important thing here in this game. Now, the big story with the second period, Zach Fucale sets the National Hockey League record for longest shutout streak to start an NHL career, not a season, not a couple games, a career. And this is a great story because you guys, well as I know, when Zach Fucale won that first game, I was so jacked up for him because he's a guy that's been through a lot. How many times do we say Spengler Cup winning goaltender gets his NHL debut? That's what Zach Fucale is. Zach Fucale was a guy that literally I remember, honest to goodness, 3 years ago, next month, I was watching I was covering the Kalamazoo Wings at the time of the ECHL, and he was down with Fort Wayne in the East Coast League. Well, it's still the ECHL. They don't call it the East Coast Hockey League. But my point, I was so happy for him. First of all, to get a call up to the NHL and to get a start in the NHL and to win in the NHL. And now he's in this game here and he sets the record, passing, Matt Hackett, who was a former Minnesota Wild goaltender who had the record. And for me, it was really exciting because I really think he's the kind of guy that it's a great story, first of all. How many times can you look at a guy and say, this guy's been through a lot? I mean, you can always say that about, oh man, this guy's worked hard to get to this point. Good for him. This guy was a highly touted prospect about 10 years ago. It's been that long of a journey for him. And for him to set the record, he didn't even know he set the record. Now, granted, when your first 2 NHL starts are about 2 months apart, I would understand why you would kind of forget and whatnot. So, but good for him. Unfortunately, it ended. It should not have ended. But Cap's about to get another power play here. And Carl Hagelin's going to feed Evgeny Kuznetsov at the point, and the puck misses him. And it keeps going and going and going and going and going into the back of the net because Fucale came on for the extra attacker on the delayed penalty. 2-1 after 2. The shutout streak officially ends, but the Caps are still leading 2-1. Despite, some good chances coming in late here for the Wild. They keep pressing in the third period. Fucale's making great saves. And then the wheels fall off. Matt Zuccarello just puts a hard wrister on. And I don't even think... I think Fucale saw all the way, but I just feel like he got caught up on that near side post. It went right underneath his glove. We're tied at 2. So in case you are curious and we're keeping track at home, Zach Fucale did not give up a goal in his National Hockey League career. Actually give up a physical goal, not one that got into the back of the net. 119 minutes and 25 seconds. That is how long Zach Fucale's shutout streak went. Now, I believe the official record will stand at 138.07 because of the empty net goal, but I think there should be an amendment to the rule because he was not in net for that goal. Because they do track the stats. When you go off the ice as a goaltender, they do track that you're off the ice. So that's why some goaltenders think, how did he not play a full 60-minute game? He was in net the entire game. He goes off for delay of game penalties or on a delayed penalty, or you pull the goalie at the end of the game. So, bummer. We go to overtime, and boy, it was exciting. First of all, we've gone back and forth on how the Caps need to win a game in overtime. They got chances. Kaapo Kähkönen makes great saves, and then Zach Fucale makes the save of the year. I mean, I thought because I was watching this game and the Colorado-Toronto game at the same time, and I thought Jack Campbell had made the save of the game and save of the season, robbing. I can't even think of who it was, but Zach Fucale makes this ridiculous save on Ryan Hartman. I'm watching it back right now because I have to remember it. It was a 2-on-1 right off the hop, and I didn't even think when you see a goaltender sprawl like that, you think somehow the guy's going to miss the net. But a beautiful feed across, Hartman's got a wide open net, and out of frame goes Zach Fucale to knock it away with his blocker and prolongs the game. It would have been done I think they stopped the clock at 11 seconds. The game would have been over in 11 seconds in overtime. And that just comes with the Capitals not winning the faceoff in overtime. But we don't need to get into that. We did that last week. But it went on, and no one scored for 5 minutes, ended up losing in a skills competition. Shootout. And, man, just what a fun game. What a fun game to watch. For me, it's Zach Fucale. Like, that's the hard part in this whole story, is the fact that he plays so well in this game, so well in his second start, and I don't say he got jobbed because it was an accident. Not like Carl Hagelin's like, I'm gonna screw our goaltender here and fling it down the ice in my own net. No, he didn't do that on purpose. It's just the fact that it sucks because he played so well. The team played well. I don't say they got goalied. I just think, once again, in overtime, you have a chance to do something and you don't do it. That's my problem, is that they find ways to lose games like this. So another shootout loss for the Washington Capitals. They did it again. They somehow found a way to do it again. It's honestly, it's impressive. I will say this. It's really impressive that the fact they've been able now to lose 9 games in regulation, or no, excuse me, in overtime or shootout. I believe now it's 2 shootout losses this season for the Capitals. Washington, so they're 2-2 now in the shootout with that loss. And that pushes them a little bit down the standings. They're now third, just solely in third, with by themselves. They're right behind New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes, who have 50 points each at the top of the division. Only 4 points back right now, guys. The surging Pittsburgh Penguins, despite that loss the other day, or no, actually, the loss the other day to Dallas. They're a good team still, guys. They could catch up to them. So, it's not set in stone yet. I mentioned those 7 points that they're missing out on. Now they include 9 if you include the shootout losses, but these are points that the Capitals are giving up right now. They're going to have to figure something out here. We will do our Kuehl caps here on the other side because I want to get those out of the way, because I think I can talk for Zach Fucale for like another 5 minutes if I want to. And we'll give our guys for the whole weekend here too. Not just the game on Saturday. We may tie something back in there for Friday's loss, but we'll tie some in there as well. But guys, it is in fact the new year, and New Year's resolutions are a must, at least for some people. So if you're about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plans. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar and maybe even better than a candy bar. Makes it easier to stick to your resolution as well because it tastes so good, you'll want to eat it. And unlike other protein bars that can be chalky, waxy, they taste like a chemical spill. Built Bars, the ones that are with chocolate flavored, are covered in 100% real chocolate. And here's an idea for the new year. Go to all your secret treat stashes at home, in the pantry, at the office, in the car, wherever. You go throw out all those sugary or calorie-filled treats and replace them with Built Bars. So you are craving a snack or a treat, you can reach for something that's healthy and tastes incredible. Go to Built.com right now to use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Once again, that's LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. So, Kuehl caps of the weekend. Well, I'm going to give one to Daniel Sprong here. I think Daniel Sprong played a really good game. He had some really good chances in the game against Minnesota too. Obviously gets a goal against St. Louis. He was a guy I had some high expectations for, and maybe a weekend like this where he got some big minutes, got to play a lot with guys like Backstrom and Oshie not making the trip at all. So he got a little bit elevated time in the top 6 as we saw, and I thought he played pretty well. Obviously, he didn't get points in both games, but once again, I think he played enough to earn a Kuehl cap for the weekend. Who do I want to give the other one to? See, if I say Connor McMichael, everyone just think I'm just playing bias here, which you're not wrong. I do like Connor McMichael, and with the way he was able to bounce back and find a way to get on the score sheet, despite, he did have to play a chunk too, coming into the lineup after being healthy scratch. He played almost 12 minutes. I think it was 11:44, I think it was. I think last time I checked. So, and that's better than what he was sitting, for the longest time, because remember how, what was it? The game he scored against LA, played like 8 minutes. Remember that? And so good for him. I'll give him one. Sure. Why not? And obviously Zach Fucale for setting the record. Huge success story, I think, for him. And, they asked Laviolette, do you consider playing him going forward? This is a very interesting time. Banachek is going to have a few days off. We believe Samsonov will be getting the start on Monday against the Boston Bruins. We haven't heard anything different yet, but that could obviously change after the morning skate later today. And I'm really interested to see what the plan is, because Fucale plays good, but then again, he's only faced in total in the 2 games that he's played in the National Hockey League this season, only 43 total shots, 21, and he actually stopped because I believe the count is a shot on goal, right? So he's made 41 saves of the 43 shots on goal, so 42 that he faced. So yeah, like I said, only allowed 1 goal in the 2 games that he has played. As I still say that he's only allowed 1 goal. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what the stat sheet says. He was not on the ice for that goal. Doesn't count. Doesn't count for his plus minus, any other stuff. So, I mean, he certainly played it into the conversation that he should be allowed to be considered to be, if Vanacek's not good to go, to get another game in. And I know Boston, this is a team, we'll talk about a little later on, that's looking at some goaltending, discussions right now because of the fact they're bringing Tuukka Rask back, and their goaltending without him has been decent, but not great. But once again, you're going up against a really good offensively gifted team in Boston. So that maybe we're going to play the more experienced, dare I say, Ilya Samsonov, even though I believe Fucale is older than Samsonov. So it's an interesting discussion here, but that's why Fucale, though, for me, earns a Kuehl cap here. And also that great save on Ryan Hartman. Holy cow. The desperation save, the not giving up on a play, that makes, kind of what makes a great goaltender is the ability to make saves when you're not supposed to. Like, that's the big thing. Obviously make the saves that you're supposed to, but at the same token, making saves that others look at and say, wow, that was a really good save. And that's right. That's a big thing for any goaltender. So we'll obviously have to keep our eyes and ears for that, because it's a really big opportunity for him to get these games in. But the Capitals, they want to win. They got to win. They need to find ways to start winning hockey games here, because you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. Like I said, they're down to 3rd in the division, and only 4 points behind Pittsburgh, who's in a wild card spot, or 4 points ahead of them, excuse me. So, and you don't want to get into a wild card race, because, I mean, yes, things were looking very comfortable last month for the Capitals, sure, but welcome to the National Hockey League, where things get a little bit tougher, things are a little bit tighter, and 2 or 3 losses in a row, or 2 or 3 losses in a quick span, can certainly turn the direction of your season around. So we're just going to have to find ways to win games here, even though the Capitals do have some days coming off here. This was this week that we're seeing a few days off between Monday and Saturday. This wasn't originally scheduled a couple days off. Last week, that was not the case, because remember, there was the game against Montreal that was postponed because the Canadiens and the Leafs are trying to move home games, to later on in the year, so they can have some fans in attendance. And I can see why, of course. It's a money deal there. So with that, we'll start talking about the game against the Boston Bruins tonight here in just a moment's time. But I got to remind you guys that BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue the march to the playoffs and beyond. Yes, that's right. NFL playoffs start next weekend, and BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the sports action this season, and all the wagering action as well for 2022. New year and new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today for receiving a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, do not wait. Take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the new year. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. The Boston Bruins. Boy, this team, I don't say I'm not going to go, they turned it around, but they have looked a lot better. Like, I think we can all nod our heads in agreement when I say that this team has found a way to start winning some games as of late. They've won 6 of their last 10 games, currently 4th in the Atlantic Division, albeit 9 points back of the 3rd placed Toronto Maple Leafs, but 3 points ahead of the 5th place Detroit Red Wings. They have, I believe, the second wild card spot. As of right now, they are both 3 points ahead of Detroit and 5 points ahead of Columbus and Philadelphia in that wild card race. This will be an interesting one. I'm really interested to see how the Bruins play. Not quite sure who's getting the start in that. Tuukka Rask was originally scheduled to play he was supposed to play the game for the Providence Bruins, if I'm not mistaken. And he was going to, where was it? He was supposed to play for Providence because he signed a PTO with them. And I have not heard anything yet. No, I haven't heard anything whether he played today or not. I believe the game is actually going on right now. So, oh, wow. Is that real? Sorry, the Carolina Hurricanes signed Jack LaFontaine to an entry-level contract, which this is breaking news here. We'll get back to Boston here in a second. Sorry. This does have to do with the Capitals because of the Metro Division or whatever. So Don Waddell announced that Jack LaFontaine, the University of Minnesota goaltender, Carolina Hurricanes prospect goaltender, signed to a 1-year entry-level contract. The deal will pay LaFontaine the minimum $750,000 through the end of the season, and also receiving a signing bonus of $88,500. The reigning Mike Richter Award winner, Jack LaFontaine, by the way, for the best goaltender in college hockey. And I believe that pretty much ruins his college eligibility. Yeah. Wow. I don't know how many of you are college hockey fans right now, but the Minnesota Golden Gophers sit atop of the Big Ten Conference right now and are poised to be making a push towards to possibly be a competitive team come tournament time. And they had a great start last year. LaFontaine was magnificent. Pat Micheletti, I had him on my old show, and we talked all the time about how great he was, how good the Gophers were. And this is quite the story. I may have to do some more diving on this because that is huge. Because obviously the Hurricanes are stretched thin. Freddie Anderson's having issues here, and they had to play Alex Lyon the other night, and he played well in the loss to the Florida Panthers. Unfortunately, played really good, but obviously they need all hands on deck when they're signing goaltenders out of college. Obviously, this is not the Ontario League or the Western Quebec League or whatever. This is out of college where these kids are amateurs. Technically, college hockey, they're amateurs. College hockey doesn't get anything. Football and basketball, that's a different story for a different day. But pretty much what this means is that he's not allowed to go back to Minnesota. That's tough for the Gophers, but exciting for the Carolina Hurricanes. They get a really good goaltender, and they need him, and which means I'll probably go back down to Chicago, because I forgot they don't do with the Checkers anymore. But anyway, sorry about that. Sorry for that diversion, folks. I looked at my Twitter just to see if any news came up, and I saw Jack LaFontaine. I was like, wow, that's a big story. Back to Boston. The Bruins, who, with eventually getting the help of Tuukka Rask down the line, are poised to be a team that's going to be competitive come playoff time. Tuukka Rask, of course, who had to recover from hip surgery, and coming from someone with bad hips, that is good to see him come back and be fully healthy. And I'm really interested to see how he comes back, how they bring him in slowly. Do they, is it, splitting time with Linus Ullmark because he is the one with the NHL contract where Jeremy Swayman is waivers exempt, which also means he can't go on the taxi squad either. And so do you split time with him? I mean, if personally speaking, I'm kind of with the idea of giving the youngster more games. I think Swayman's a better goaltender, personally speaking. At least that's just me. Right now, between the two goaltenders, Linus Ullmark is 10-5 with a 2.54 goals against average and a 9.18 save percentage in 15 starts. In 16 starts with an 8.6-2 record, Jeremy Swayman has a 9.18 save percentage as well and a 2.26 goals against average with a shutout. And it makes it, it's tough, not easy to say the least, but it is interesting to see who you'd have to pick. But it's obviously going to probably be Ullmark because he's got the bigger contract, unless they made a move. Unless the GM Don Sweeney makes a move to put him somewhere else, but I don't know who's taking on that contract right now for a goaltender. Like I said, the flat cap is a huge issue with that, but that'll be obviously something up to work on later on down the line. Now, the offense for the Bruins, it's the perfection line still. They do have 5 players that have over 20 points, but only 3 guys that have scored over 10 goals this season. That being Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, the captain Patrice Bergeron, and David Pastrnak. Marchand leads the team with both goals and assists and points, 14 goals, 19 assists, 33 points. Bergeron behind him with 26 points, 24 for David Pastrnak. If you guys are able to quickly math with me, that is a grand total of 83 points between the 3 of them. I'm like 83 points between the 3 of them. And yeah, this is a good team, but it's a very top-heavy team, as we have seen. Charlie Kuehl has been having a solid year as well, but Jake DeBrusk, of course, we all know that story, how he doesn't, he wants to trade, doesn't think he's getting the playing time, but then everyone gets COVID, so he gets playing time. And, I think Erik Haula has not been the greatest all, for the Bruins, but he's played well. There's certain guys that need to step up for this team if they want to make a deeper run, but they've played better as of late. They've all had slow starts. I think that team really maybe without having Tuukka Rask there early on, they were trying to figure out, to have a good, consistent play. But now I think they're starting to slowly get it back together here, and they're going to be a good team. This will be a fun game to watch for sure. I think it's going to be a close one. I would predict the goaltending battle to be Swayman versus Samsonov, just because I think Swayman may be the better goaltender in a situation like this. But then again, it could be Fucale Allmark. It could easily be that. It could be Fucale Swayman. Like, all four goaltenders have a shot to play Monday night, because we haven't heard anything at the time of this recording that Vanacek is good to go. And I think we realize that there's a few more days off after this game on Monday. I would be pretty content with the Capitals saying, let's just keep Vanacek on the shelf for as long as we can, get him healthy, because the Capitals do have a couple games. I believe they do have a back-to-back. Yes, they play the New York Islanders at UBS Arena Saturday afternoon before playing Sunday afternoon back home against the Canucks. So you're going to need two goaltenders for sure in another back-to-back scenario in back-to-back weekends. So should be a good game. I'm going to say 3-2 Bruins because it's an easy bet, because each team can score goals, but at the same time, each goaltender can play well. So I'm going to say 3-2 Bruins, because I'm really doing good a job at, not picking the Caps, and usually it ends well, all ends well and goes well in the times like these, right? So with that, let's take a look at the scores here. The scores that are happening around the NHL on Monday night. Not too many games, though. Looking at back at Sunday, too, St. Louis pulling one out from behind their keisters against Dallas. Holy cow, down 1-0 going to the final minute. They score a power play goal to tie the game. And they score a power play goal right after that to win the game in regulation time. Rick Bowness, of course, went haywire, threw his stick and all that stuff. Went crazy. I mean, I would have too, obviously, if there were two bad penalties like that at that stage of the hockey game as well. But big win for the Blues, though. They're the Central Division leaders for a reason. Games on Monday night, only 3. Obviously, Bruins and Caps. That's the lone 7 o'clock start. And also at 9 o'clock, the Colorado Avalanche, hot off coming back from a 4-1 deficit to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's right. The Toronto Maple Leafs blowing a 4-1 game. Who would have thought? Well, the Seattle Kraken are going to try to not blow a lead, but I'm sure if they get a lead, that'd be great. The Kraken and the Avalanche playing in Denver, and then the LA Kings taking on the New York Rangers in Hollywood. Rangers trying to stay atop of the Metropolitan Division with Carolina. So those are the games on Monday night. And that is it for this edition of Locked On Capitals. Be sure to come back with us tomorrow when we recap the game against the Bruins and kind of look ahead what's coming up for the Caps and what's going on for the show, because we may have some fun later on this week. Oh my gosh, Wixie, will you stop barking? My goodness. There's no one outside. There's nothing going on. Nobody cares about you barking. Only I can be the loud one in this house. Ah! Follow us at Locked On Caps on Twitter. Follow me, the Insider of the Insiders, Tyler Kuehl, at TJKU29 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Knock on wood, I'll be going to Colorado Springs this coming weekend, so I may have some cool stuff about Colorado College on my TikTok coming up here. More useless hockey talk. It's fun. Thank you all very much once again for watching and listening to this episode of Locked On Caps. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching on our YouTube channel, Locked On Capitals, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Anywhere and everywhere you can find us, free as always. We'll see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. For God's sakes, Wixie!